welcome to the Real Talk with Pascal Mayada. I'm your host, Pascal Mayada. Um, Today, normally that wasn't even my plan to do the Real Talk. My whole plan was doing the podcast, regular podcast, talk about the March Madness, the MLB season the MLB season, the NBA news, and so on and so forth. But I could not ignore this topic that I'm about to talk about. Um, I am talking about the Stephen A. Smith versus LeBron James again about their feud over a topic about Bronny James, which I'll be honest with you, I'm sick of it. But I understand. If you haven't watched it, before I talk about it, make sure to listen to this uh podcast Too Good to Be True on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcast. Also, you can watch this podcast on my YouTube channel. Uh, um, on my YouTube channel, like I said, notify, like, leave your comment on my video. Leave also the comments and likes on in the community that I post every news about sports, sneaker, or culture. Uh, the, and enjoy listening to this in my podcast. But let's get right to it, my man. So um, if you don't know, or you are living under a rock, uh, LeBron James went on the Pat McAfee show on ESPN, and he went on his show because if you remember on Wednesday, uh, the Lakers uh, had a game against the Pacers, which, by the way, they won. They won the game when a tip in over the Pacers. Um, you haven't heard about the what's going on. LeBron James said something about the feud between Stephen A. Smith on his podcast on Pat McAfee podcast, and this I believe he got something to say uh, uh about it. I'll find it. Pretty much gonna find it if I can. The video. Hold on. If I can find it. If I can't, I will say what he said on his comment. Hold on. If I can. Yes, I found it. So I'll a little bit. I'll pause it. So I'm gonna share it right now. Um, I'm gonna just go to my. Yeah, there it is. I'm gonna share it with you guys. So listen what he's got to say about his feud with Stephen A. Smith. Then I will then I will come back and Stephen A. Smith will and respond to LeBron James uh about LeBron I can't speak today. I mean, sorry. LeBron James went to Pat McAfee and he said about talking about the feud with Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. Smith will respond um on LeBron James on first take um on was Thursday. So let's listen what LeBron gonna say.
Yep. Which leads obviously to you and Stephen A. Hey, legit, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift
tour run right now. Oh yeah, we're watching. Yeah, we're all. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we're all. You're seeing it as well. He literally. It started off with, I didn't want to address it. I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it since the video came out. Feel the need to address it. You would not talk about it. Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you can address it, it's your ass. Like seriously, it's and like another, he completely like missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever um, not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job, to criticize or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing, that is all part of the game. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players. And I think a lot of the media, including him, and I know he's gonna be happy as hell. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about it. Nice. Oh my God, he's gonna get home and grab some ice cream out of the fucking freezer and sit in his chair and his tidy whities on the couch. I hope at some point you two do get a chance. But you're right. Dude, relax, bro. Relax. Seriously. Yep.
So this is what LeBron James said about uh, uh, Stephen A. Smith on Pat Mcafee podcast, and this is his respond. Stephen A. Smith respond, I believe on first take. Then he, yeah. Let's look at the uh, um. Damn, I lost. Stephen A. Smith responding. Uh, LeBron James on first take. So I have to look for it again. My apologize because this is not what's part of the plan. But we're gonna look for it right now. Hold on. I'm gonna look for it. Wait, man. This LeBron feud is very out of goddamn control. I'll be honest with you. It is out of control. If I can find it, um, if I can find it, um, if I can, if I can find it, well, wait, I can't find it. But this is what Stephen A. Smith responded on his uh podcast in his podcast uh yeah this is Stephen A. Smith responded on his podcast. So let's listen to this. It's 4 minutes long, but go ahead. Let's listen to this.
My issue is with LeBron James. And I just want to say for the record, LeBron James is full of it. And in this particular instance, as it pertains to his son, he is a liar. And he went on national television today and he lied again. You see, when he approached me while I was sitting courtside at that game against the New York Knicks, when he rolled up on me, I didn't know he was going to roll up on me. I had no idea. But when he said what he had to say, I was in no position to give any kind of retort without making a scene. It was during the third quarter. It was fresh out of a timeout. It was him walking to the basketball court. It was on national television. The cameras were rolling. And had I done something, what do y'all want me to do? You want me to act? You want this to be a reincarnation of Chris Rock and Will Smith? And let me state for the record that while we bring up that, let me assure you it wouldn't have gone down like that. I would have gotten my ass kicked. Because had that man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him. Immediately. That I'm not going to tolerate. But I knew he wasn't going to do something like that. There was no fear in my mind about it. It was shock. Because as I have repeatedly stated, I was not talking about his son. I was talking about him. The real point at hand is this.
So you heard that? Just want to be clear that because there's been a video of Stephen A. Smith doing the boxing and trying to train, just boxing, just for, because cardio boxing is pretty much cardio. So sorry, and he trying to, just doing a little bit of boxing, and LeBron James clown him on social media, which you can find it, by the way. I'm not going to show it, and he literally said that he will get his ass kicked. But when you say you're going to swat him, you know, I think people make a joke about it. But you need to defend yourself. I'm sorry to say that, but if somebody came approach to me like that, and try to be in the heated confrontation, and he try to touch me, I'm gonna really be swung at him in a minute. So so he was talking about defending himself, just for the record. So let's continue.
LeBron James continues to lie. He hoodwinked y'all into thinking that he was upset about criticism about his son. If your son is a professional basketball player, and I was talking about your son as a basketball player, since you just went on Pat McAfee's show and said you would never knock anybody for talking about the game, then what is it that I said? Because there's one person in this ordeal that's telling the truth, and it's me. I don't lie to y'all. His ass lies a lot. And there's a lot of shady stuff that he does. And one of the things is his passive aggressiveness and the two-facedness and smile in your face and dig you behind the back. I happen to know that about him, which is why I don't like him. And he don't like me. But it doesn't stop me from being fair and calling it like I see it. We ain't exchanging Christmas gifts. We ain't having Thanksgiving dinner together. What you bring your son up into there for? What you bring your family up in there before? You gonna go on Pat McAfee show, talk about you gonna protect your house. Talking about. Your son ain't at the house. He's at crypto.com arena. We ain't covering him in Brentwood. We covering him in downtown LA at the crypto.com arena. Where you put him. Could y'all please go back to the video of him getting in my face? If you watch, ladies and gentlemen, and you see it for yourself, notice how LeBron is in my face. And right when he finishes, he looks past me right at the camera that was filming it. Watch him. I didn't even pick that up first go round. You got Markieff Morris to my right, his left. You got Scott Brooks, assistant coach, behind him. He finishes talking and looks right up to the camera. Everybody and their mother knew I was going to be there. Because when you sit courtside, the Lakers have an idea of who's going to show up. He knew I was coming. And picked the third quarter in the middle of the game to say what he has to say to make sure the camera's rolling. And to then look at the camera after immediately saying what he said to me, with me having no chance to respond.
So That's what Stephen A. Smith said, responding to LeBron. But also, he has responding something else too. If I can find out, uh, yes, about the. I don't know. I'm not talking about the Giannis thing. I'll talk about this later. But um, the one with the I don't know if I can find it. He responded. Oh wait, if I can find it. No, I don't think I can find it. But but let's go to the next one to this article on Yahoo Sport.com. So I want to read this. So the outgoing Stephen A. Smith LeBron James feud has escalated. Every public back and forth between the ESPN putting and LA Lakers star continued Wednesday night when Smith went on his live YouTube show and responded to James blasting him on ESPN on Pat Mcafee show earlier today. Smith then opened Thursday with a monologue about the situation, which was 60 minutes long. I watched it. The cruise of the conversation is Smith covering of James' son, Bronny. LeBron approached Smith courtside during the March 6th Laker game, reportedly saying, yo, you gotta stop talking, I'll curse, shit about my son. You gotta stop fucking with my son. That's my son. That's my son. Smith was not amused, saying James confronted was bullshit and weak. James said his part Wednesday by painting his incident as in protecting his family. Oh boy. An hour later, Smith had a lot to say. First, he said he had no issue with his ESPN colleague in McAfee bringing James on to criticizing him, as that the nature of their line of work. Then he accused James of lying about his covering of Bronny and wipe out a Chris Rock Will Smith comparison. Smith claimed that James touched. Smith claimed that had James touched him, he would have taken a swing at the Lakers star, then immediately experienced a bad time. So we already listened to it. So we're not going to read this, but we're going to continue reading this. So James responded an hour later on Instagram, a video on Smith doing some training. To be fair, Smith was pretty clear that taking a swing at James would have not gone well. As expected, Smith had something to say about James' Instagram post Thursday. In literally monologue on First Take, said James was in his feelings. Smith also claimed that James was holding the grudge because Smith believed Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Which the GOAT debate, I would say this personally. I would say it later, but let's continue reading it. So I don't want to read this. Go. I don't want to read this. You can find yourself on. You can find it on YahooSport.com. So Smith then praised James for all his accomplishments away from the but said James only cared about being called the GOAT. Smith, LeBron James trade Barf over Bronny James. Again, if Smith comment about Bronny that started the whole back and forth, Smith overall position essentially that he had fair covered Bronny James' NBA career, which began he was selected by his father team into the second round in the 2024 NBA draft. Bronny has seen sporadic minutes as a rookie, moving between Lakers and their G League, the South Bay. Smith claimed that James had interpreted a statement of fact that exactly harsh criticism of his son, who James has been open for years about getting to the NBA so they could play together. So I'm not going to read this. Smith went on to praise Barney's recent performance, which include career high 17 points in the game the Lakers versus against them, significant short-handed and a 39-point eruption in G League on Monday. Another idea Smith objected was to notion he was doing all this for the ratings. He was frank about dynamic at the play there. He was frank about the dynamic at play there. So I'm not going to read this. Like I said, clearly Smith is bothered about how this is going down. As far for James, while he began Wednesday began against the Indiana Pacers with only 3.046 shooting in the first three quarters before posting 10 of his fourth of the tipping in the game-winning buzzer beater against the Pacers. So, so I don't know if it's continuing. If it's not, probably is pretty much done. I'm pretty much done. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with it. So, what are my thoughts? Oh, skip this. My bad. So, what are my thoughts about this? I think it's pretty shitty that LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith are feuding. But also, I'm sorry, very tired of this feud. I understand LeBron James' feelings because I know Stephen A. Smith said as a father, and I think as a father that's triggered LeBron James. So I understand that. And I understand Stephen A. Smith, he has a job to do. He has to criticize, like every journalist, any sport debate in life. I mean, actually, not in life, but about their job is to criticize the players and their game and so on and so forth. Yes, we should. I will criticize a little bit Stephen A. Smith when he said as a father. I think that really triggered LeBron James. But LeBron James also, let's not let uh LeBron James off the hook right now because he started it. Let's be honest to people. I mean, LeBron started it. He started it. He said that my son, Bronny James, his word, not mine, that he said that he's better than the some of the half people in the NBA. But and when you say something like that, how do you think the player's gonna feel? Oh, he has a target on his Bronny James have a target on his back. And that's how the player's gonna feel. Let's not let's compare the same thing what LeVar Ball said when Lonzo Ball got drafted. I don't remember what LeVar Ball said. He said his son is gonna be an all time great. He's gonna be better and half of the player in the league. And what happened in opening night? Patrick Beverly defended him uh, in front in a half court, and Lonzo Ball dropped 3 points. And you know that's happening. So I think LeBron James really hype him Bronny up, which I understand that. But also you gotta remember, you got a target on your back. Because those players when they hear this stuff like that, when they're gonna mark the calendar, and I tell you the truth, I play hoop. When they mark the calendar, you become the target. So LeBron James did a shitty thing. We don't see that. We don't see Carmelo Anthony hyping up his son Kyan, or Gilbert Arenas' son Elijah. I did not see that because they want to see the process of their kids develop, not put them on the platform and say my son is 10 times better than half the player in the league. You don't do stuff like that. You don't do you don't do shit like that. And LeBron also is a hypocrite too about it too. Why you got to stand up in a 60-year-old man who's doing his job to criticize the game? Like I said on my previous real talk with this Stephen A. Smith, I talked about this. I talked about this. I don't need to. I didn't. I don't need to tell it. You can watch it on my YouTube channel, or you can listen on my podcast. on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. I said it. I said it. I don't need to retell it. But at the same time, I'm like, man, this feud is still continuing. I mean, this feud. I mean, I tell you what. I tell you what. I don't think this feud is gonna be over. I'll tell you right now. This feud between Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James feud is not gonna be. It's not gonna be over. But also, I just want to continue this. Also, Steve, I didn't find a video, but Stephen A. said about he just mad because he's not the GOAT. And you know what? If since we are talking about the GOAT discussion, let me tell you this. Yes, LeBron James got 4 chips. Michael got 6 chips. LeBron lost like 6 finals. Michael never lost in the finals. LeBron James won 9. I think it was eight straight NBA finals in the 2010 to 2011 to 2018. Won three, two with the Heat, one with the Cavs. Michael Jordan did three-peat on two separate occasions. I mean, we all know that LeBron James is in the full Mount Rushmore. He's in the Mount Rushmore. I get it, but also I can say that LeBron James is number two over Michael Jordan, number one, and that's okay. Not everybody will pick. Will always gonna choose you. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's gonna choose you to be the number one. So it's okay. But also, I understand in LeBron James' point that you're attacking my son as a father. You question me as a father. That's pretty much crossing the line. But also, let's continue with the LeBron thing because this one it pissed me off. So LeBron James said on Pat Mcafee show that Giannis will score uh, uh, 250 point in the era in the in the in the 70s. We know with Kareem, Dr. J, Dave Cohen, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna share this video. I don't know. I'm gonna share this video if I can find it. And I can find it. If I don't, well, first take Stephen A. is first take Stephen A. Actually, Giannis responded about it. So I'm gonna look. Yeah, I'm gonna respond. I'm gonna share it. Then, then, then I'm gonna put the first take thing. So let's actually listen to what Giannis gotta say.
shoot the ball from half court. Towns trail every time and he's able to catch the ball and shoot it. He's a threat. Like, it's totally different. Right? So you cannot compare this era. You got that. You know, I wish at this era that I play right now, 2025, I wish I could score 250 points today. Yeah, I don't think it's fair. Because I'll probably play the same way that they play. I'll play the same way. Yeah, but it's a great compliment. It's a different.
So you heard what Giannis said, and I would say this: kudos to Giannis with his response because yes, in the '70s, the way they played back then is a little bit different what it is now. They didn't have a special treatment. They didn't have what it had today. What we have today, like the medical, the MRI thing, so on and so forth. And also, everybody played the same way. So I would say this: kudos to Giannis, and like I said with the LeBron thing, this is such a hip. His take on the 250 point is very disrespectful. So let's listen to this, and I will continue for this last topic on my Real Talk podcast. So let's go.
Problem. It's still disrespect to the terrorists. And so when he does what he does on that, that's him, passive aggressively, yet again, finding a way to take shots because inherently he has a problem himself to do from previous terrorists. Folks talk about him. They talk about what he would have. Example, it's not my goal. Shannon's might be yours or somebody else, not mine. Why do I say that? Because the road to prosperity had to travel. I believe going hard like Jordan, they would stop before he learned how to. I'm not talking about LeBron once he learned how to win. I'm talking about the LeBron that was absent prior to that. And if you got to go up against a killer like Michael Jordan and others who would try to snatch your heart right out of your chest, I believe somebody like Jordan would pass. Nobody was going to repeat Kobe. Nobody was going to repeat MJ. Nobody's going to repeat Duncan like that. But him, I believe he would have been why I have Jordan there. The previous eras are what enables you to be who you are. We look at this industry, for example. What would we have been if we didn't have the student Scott? What would we have been, dog? Not for the Vitality. What would we have been if we didn't have somebody like a Howard Cosell, right? And to see what he did. Every single era you point to has a previous era that paved the way. We didn't see a Giannis because a Giannis didn't exist. It had to, the game evolved, and as the game evolved, and whatever they put in the food and got dudes growing to be 7 feet and run like that or whatever, you saw that kind of capability. It didn't exist in the world in the 70s or the 60s in a lot of people's eyes. Fair enough. But have you seen Bill Walton? Did you see him in the 70s? Did you see his hops? Did you see his mobility? Did you see his athleticism before his feet gave way? Bill Walton was something special. So I'm just saying that when you allude to the previous eras, right, and you do so in that kind of way, what you're doing is showing a disrespect that's sprinkled with resentment because you hate the fact that people are able to point to a previous era and talk about what you're not.
Let's find another video, and that's a great take, Steven Smith. I love that take. I love that take. I love that take. Um, and here's what Mad Dog Russo got to say about the LeBron comment on Giannis. He can score 250 points.
I'll say this to LeBron. As he hurt, Giannis is not as good. So, is on the Sixers in the 7th. I think that Julius Serving scored 250 points in a quote-unquote game or average 50 a game. Here's what I want LeBron to do. He probably hasn't seen it. Here's what I want you to do, LeBron. I want you to go take a peek at the 77. If you want to go 70s, take a peek at the 77 Trailblazers. Go watch Walt. You can watch Mo Lucas play in the front court. Mo Lucas, who wouldn't take nonsense for nobody. The first time that Giannis would go in the lane, he knocked on his rear end. No three-point line, not a lot of up and down. Let me see Giannis against that team. Let me see him go out there and average 50 points a game. You know what? Julius Stickler lost to that Portland team in the NBA Finals. Paris, they lost 4 straight games after that 2-0. And Giannis is not Julius Erving. He's not in the same ballpark. And Julius Erving's top 12 player in the NBA. Giannis is not in that scenario. So that bothers me. When you bring up the 70s, my era, when I grew up, and I watched every game, night in and night out, to 3 o'clock in the morning. A lot of these finals were on tape delay. To sit there and embarrass the guys who played in the 70s, Bill Walton, Kareem, are you all these great centers? Are you nuts? That is, Giannis is a great player. Nobody's going to say he's not a great player. But don't sit there and say that this is ridiculous to compare him that he's so much better than anybody in the 70s, because he's not. Steve, you know Julius well. It's not a mistake. No way.
Yeah, that's what they gotta say. I gotta say this. I hate this generation. Don't give the old guard respect. I always say this, and I'm always gonna say it again. This era, do not, do not, do not give respect of the yesteryear from the '60s, the '70s, the '80s, even the '90s, even the '90s. And I know this is not too good to be true podcast. This is real talk, but this is real talk. This is a real conversation we having. I tell you right now, Giannis in the '70s will not survive. I will say this with clear because I'm a basketball historian. I'm a basketball nerd. I might add. I'll tell you what, Giannis in the '70s will not survive because in the '70s, I'll tell you what, they will give it to him to Giannis, if he came to the lane, if he came on the hole, and also LeBron James don't give respect for the yesteryear that the people open up the door for you LeBron. The yesteryear, do you know didn't have the same condition the people that you have right now, LeBron James. Did you know that? Did you know that they didn't have a private jet, having their own a private jet? They didn't have the treatment that they have that we have right now, and also the CBA because and also remember in the '70s it was pretty much controversial because the NBA was black, too black. I don't think LeBron James will survive in the '70s and the '80s, even in the '90s too. I think he will be good. I'll tell you he will be good, but as far as mentality to winning, I think like what Stephen A. Smith said, Jordan, Jordan, um, the Lakers, Larry Bird, those guys, even in the '70s, like Kareem, the Portland Trailblazers in the '70s, we're really gonna snatch LeBron's heart. Believe me. If you really watch the Dr. J documentary, and I watched it, was very fantastic, very fantastic. I advise you to watch his documentary. If you look at the '70s when the Sixers against the Portland Trailblazer, the Sixers went 2-0. After 2-0, what happened? The Portland Trailblazer won full straight in a snap in a finger. Just like the '06 Heat. They were 0-2 against the Dallas Mavericks. And what happened? The Miami Heat won four straight, and a snap of the finger against the Mavericks. So the way that LeBron said about the '70s is very disrespectful, and you don't see Kobe Bryant disrespect the yesteryear. And that's not just the LeBron James. I think this generation in a whole do not respect the yesteryear. It's not just in basketball, in football, baseball, hockey, even in wrestling. Even in wrestling, they do not pay respect from the yesteryear that really open up the door for them. For they should not suffer the same thing that the yesteryear had. So that's all I gotta say. And I know I went too long, but but this feud between Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James, and the LeBron James comment on Giannis it's out of line. I'm really fed up. I think I'm pretty much fed up now. I'm pretty fed up to talk about this. But thank you very much for listening to this real talk. If you want to join me on social media, you can follow me on social media at Pascal underscore Mayada underscore 15. You can also go to on Threads, same thing, Pascal underscore Mayada underscore 15. You can go on my X, formerly Twitter, at Belly, which is BNM. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast, and I'll see you next week for I will do the real podcast. So see you next time.